Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today I'm going to be taking you guys for a tour of my race car garage in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now since the last time I did this, I've actually moved locations of where all my race cars are to the new Eclipse Boulevard garage that's well, new in Grand Theft Auto Online as of last week. So I filled up one of the floors with all of my best race cars, and we're going to go ahead and head inside and I'm going to show you guys all of them. Alright, and we are going to start off on the right hand side of the garage with my Karen Previon. Now a lot of people don't like this customization that I did. It's a salmon pink and it's got this kind of cool like wavy livery on it. I've also got the power metal sun strip on the visor of it. I've got the full carbon dash with the pod tachometer and everything, and all of the dash gauges and the fully stripped out interior. It's also got this massive wing on it. There's something about the Previon that I've never liked. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the shape of the car. Maybe it's how much camber it is. Maybe it's the wheels being so tucked in under the body line. Not really sure, but what I can say is that the Karen Previon is an absolutely fantastic car for racing within the coupes category. This is one of the fastest coupes in the entire game. It's either first or second, depending on what you kind of believe. I personally think that the Previon is the best coupe in the entire game when it comes to racing within the coupes category. It's got a lot of customization. It was added with the LS Tuners DLC. Overall, I think it's a fantastic car, and it's actually on the podium this week in the casino with an exclusive never before seen livery on it. So if you guys are interested, go and pick that up if you can. That's pretty much it for the Previon at number 1. Let's go ahead and move to number 2, and this is my Pegassi Torero XO with the Kasama beer livery on it. This is a car that I went out and made into a race car because I was using my normal Torero on the racetrack, but I think that having a kind of a dedicated race car with upgrades that are maybe a little more streamlined for racing. So for this one, I went with a carbon theme with obviously the orange and then the Kasama beer livery on it as well. I went for kind of a understated wing because on my other Torero I have an absolutely massive wing. That's not to say that this wing is small, but it's just a little bit more streamlined with the whole body style of the car. I think that this one looks good. The Torero unfortunately doesn't have very good racing liveries, which is kind of a shame, but I made do with what I had, I feel like. Hopefully they add more liveries to this car in the future because I would like to put a crazy race livery on this thing, but for right now this is how it's looking. And next up we have the Dinka Jester RR. Now this is a car that I actually customized pretty recently. I wanted to do a Jester RR customization because I believe this thing was either the prize ride or the podium vehicle, or maybe it was on sale. And I decided to go and make a race car out of it because I've heard from a lot of people that the Jester RR is one of the best tuners cars for racing within the tuners subcategory. So I went and I customized this thing. When I saw this livery for it that adds the orange as well as the black onto it, I was like, man, I could totally go for an Op Asimov build from Counter-Strike. And so that's what I kind of ended up going for. I think that this thing looks really good. I'm super happy with how this turned out. I put the big wing on it. I think that the Jester RR generally is just one of the better tuners DLC cars. Definitely one of the more realistic looking ones, being based off the Mark V Toyota Supra. I think that RockSTAR did a great job with this thing. The only thing that's a little weird to me is like the front end. The front end just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't quite do it for me, but it still looks good. It's just not quite like accurate at all to the regular Supra, other than like the headlight shape maybe. But other than that, I mean, it's a pretty damn good looking car, I think. And with this livery and this full like race build on it, I think that it looks absolutely fantastic. I kept the stock wheels on this thing because they're a little bit wider than the other wheels that I was looking at. So that means that the car is going to get more traction. If you didn't know, that's how GTA works. I also kept the stock wheels on my Torero as well because they're a little bit wider than any of the aftermarket wheels as well. So it does actually matter. You'd be surprised, but that's pretty much it for the Jester RR. Let's move on to the next vehicle. This is of course the Fister Growler, which is another Tuners DLC vehicle. This one's done in the Zero gas livery. And I pretty much put every carbon option that I could on this vehicle. As you guys can see, it's got the carbon wheel arch vents and the carbon hood vents as well, which is kind of dumb because this thing's a rear-engined vehicle. So that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense that that's there, I guess, but you know what, it's fine. As with the rest of them, I have the pod tachometer there, the carbon dash, and the fully stripped out interior, except I actually put window tint on this thing, which I usually don't do for my race builds, so I don't know why I did that, come to think of it, but I mean, I'm sure I had a good reason for it. I've also got the Fukaru sun strip on this thing, and I matched that up with the Fukaru tire lettering there because I thought that that looked pretty cool. Overall, I do like this build a lot. I am pretty happy with it. I went for, I believe it's a Mariner blue, or it's maybe even a diamond blue now that I'm thinking of it, for the color on it. So anyway, I think it looks really good. Unfortunately, the Fister Growler is not exactly the best car ever. It actually kind of completely sucks, but at least it looks really good, right? So that's what really matters. Anyways, that's it for the Fister Growler. Let's move on to the last car on this side of the garage, and this is my Grotti Italy GTO with a brand new livery on it. I just changed this thing up today, actually, right before I decided to make this garage tour video. It's got the Urban Racer livery on it with the Dynasty 8 executive sponsorship there, and the Bullhead Law Finance Property sponsor as well. It's got the Atomic sponsorship as well. I think that this livery is super unique. It's got kind of an ultra blue, like, that's actually built into the livery, so I figured I would go with an ultra blue interior and an ultra blue secondary to just try to get some more of that sort of ultra blue look on the car, and I think that it turned out really, really good. Now with this car, you might notice that I have off-road tires on it, and you're probably like, dude, those are absolutely abhorrently disgusting looking on this vehicle, and I totally agree with you. However, the Italy GTO is a car that kind of benefits from having off-road tires. These are a little bit wider than the normal tires that come on this car, so that's why I've actually got them on here. And on top of that, off-road tires do actually help for off-road sections in races, and there's a couple stunt races that I actually play relatively often. One called Zebra and another one called Rally, and they have pretty large off-road sections, and I have found that the off-road tires do help with those sections in particular. So that's why I've got the off-roads on this car. I know they're really ugly, but it is kind of you know, functional, so that's why they're on there. But that's pretty much it for my Italy GTO. This thing's awesome. I love this car. Definitely my favorite race car in the entire game. I absolutely adore this thing. It's won me a ton of races, that's for sure. So anyways, that is pretty much it for this side of the garage. Let's move on to the next side, starting off with my Ubermox Cipher. Now I just re-customized one of my ciphers into this thing. Then on Monday, I've actually got another Ubermox Cipher, a race build, coming out. So stay tuned for that if you guys are interested. On this car though, I've got the Zero Gas livery, as I'm sure you could probably tell by the huge Zero Gas livery that's on the car. I love this thing. I think it looks super good on this car because it's kind of the BMW like M color scheme, and the Cipher is based pretty heavily off of the BMW M2. So I thought that this was pretty fitting. I put the huge wing on it because obviously downforce. And the secondary color, I actually went for a frost white because I think that the frost white kind of matches up nicely. It still gives it the white like tone, but you can actually see the sponsorships that are on the side of the car here with the frost white. So that is kind of essential for this thing. I think that this turned out really, really good. I'm super happy with how this looks. Overall, definitely one of my more favorite race cars, I would say, and I just made it. So there you go. I got the bronze rims on it and everything, but I kind of do like my Cipher that I just made that's coming out on Monday just a little bit more than this thing. So stay tuned for that, guys. You're probably going to want to check that out. Anyways, next vehicle, we have the Vapid Dominator ASP, formerly the fastest muscle car in Grand Theft Auto Online for a period of about 3-4 months. Until it was overtaken by the Bravado Buffalo STX, and then also nerfed with the update that the STX came with, which was of course the contract DLC. So it has kind of been reinstated with the release of the Criminal Enterprises DLC back in the summer. They kind of unnerfed it, so it's not quite as great as it was when it first came out, but it's definitely better than it was once the contract DLC came out. So this thing's still pretty good. Definitely one of the best handling muscle cars in the entire game, and with all the customization it got from the Tuners DLC, it's phenomenal. This thing is absolutely awesome. You can do so much to this. As you guys can see, I've got the massive front bumper and splitter on this thing, the hood pins, the crazy hood. I got the orange, white, and black theme going with this thing. I was considering doing the white in a black instead of the instead of the white, obviously. because I think it would look a little bit cooler, but at the same time it would totally just look like a pumpkin. So not 100% sure about this build yet. I'm still kind of working on it. I've changed it since I actually made my customization video on the ASP just about, you know, a month or so ago. So anyways, I love this car. It's got the full carbon dash and a full race interior and all of that sort of stuff. I think that it's fantastic. It does have the stock wheels on it because they're just a little bit wider than some of the other tires that I was looking at for this thing. So that's why those are on there. They're not my favorite rims ever, but I think that they actually look pretty good for what they are too. So, you know, not really any complaints from me. Anyways, that's it for the ASP. On to the next car, and this is the Benefactor Schlagen GT. Now, this is a pretty recent customization that I did as well. I went for the white with the carbon hood and the Cherenkov vodka livery on this thing, and I think that this car looks so damn good. I love how this turned out. Super impressed with it. I really like the look of the red that comes with the Cherenkov vodka livery. I think that it's so like perfect. It's like bright, but it's also muted, and like it just looks so damn good. I think that this car is absolutely phenomenal looking, and it's got some great customization. The Schlagen, it's truly one of the most realistic looking cars in the entire game, and I think that it's just fantastic. And you know, I typically hate carbon hoods on cars, but with the Schlagen GT, man, you can get away with it, especially with this livery and everything. I think that it's such a good looking car, even with the carbon hood and all that. I got the Benefactor Sunstrip on there as well, and yeah, this thing is absolutely awesome. I haven't actually taken this thing into a proper race yet, but I think that it's going to do pretty good. Not exactly one of the fastest sports cars. I'm probably going to get killed by an Italia GTO, but I'm definitely going to try, that's for sure. Anyways, that's it for the Schlagen GT. Onto the Progen Emirates. This is a build that I don't think that I actually recorded, but that I did make pretty recently, and I'm super happy with how the Progen Emirates has turned out. I went for a different wing than I usually go for because I think that this looks so fantastic. That wing is just so nice looking. The only problem that I really have with it is I wish that it was joined just on the sides there, but I think from a far enough angle from the front of the car, you would get fooled into thinking that it is attached on the sides there. So it kind of works. I think I went for a bright orange on this thing, and then the wheels, I did the stock wheel color glitch and painted those in the stock orange color. I think the secondary on this car is black to make the roof black, which matches up pretty nicely with the livery that I chose for this thing. So I love this car. I definitely got inspired by my friend Twingo. If you haven't seen his Emirates build, go check that out. Link in the description, and he's on my featured channels page. Yeah, the Emirates, absolutely fantastic. This is a car that I had the stock wheels on because the stock wheels are actually significantly wider on this thing, and it makes the car handle so much better. Like, you would actually be shocked. You guys, if you have an Emirates, go put the stock wheels on it and do a race in it, and then go and put your aftermarket wheels on it and do a race with it, and you will see a pretty big difference, I promise you. And maybe do that in the reverse order. Don't get rid of your aftermarket wheels and then put on the stocks and then put on the aftermarkets again. That would be kind of stupid. So just do that in reverse order. Test it for yourselves. You'll see what I'm talking about. Anyways, fantastic car. And it's time to move on to my last car in the garage, which is the Obey Tailgater S. The Obey Tailgater S. I went for a full GT3 race car build with this thing. I was going for the RS3 LMS race car with this. Didn't quite nail it, but I think that it looks pretty similar. I went for a silver because I think that it just looks a little bit better. The Audi RS3 LMS in real life is more of like a dark steel type of color, but I think that the silver looks really, really good on this thing, and I'm super happy with how this build turned out. I haven't really used this car too much in races because it's not exactly one of the fastest tuner cars. And it certainly is not one of the fastest sports cars, so haven't really had enough of a chance to use this thing, but it is definitely a great street car. I have been driving it on the street quite a lot, and it's, you know, it's good enough. It's a good enough car, that's for sure. So anyway, guys, that is pretty much it for my race car garage tour in Grand Theft Auto Online in 2023. These cars are all absolutely fantastic. I'm super happy with these cars. I've been really enjoying doing the race builds recently. I hope you guys have been enjoying watching them as well. Of course, if you have been enjoying watching the race builds, let me know in the comments down below. I would like to know your guys' thoughts. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you didn't, of course. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.